Welcome back, everybody. Let's just continue on. So I have my virtual machine here. It's running. The installation process is complete. I didn't take any screenshots, nothing special there. Just let it finish till the end. That is all, nothing else. So go ahead and click on reboot. Capture, okay, until we install guest editions. So it's rebooting now. Just wait for it. Shouldn't take that long. And after it reboots, we're going to be doing several things which you will need to do afterwards. The post installation procedure. Let's just you can let that run. You don't need to actually change it there to boot or anything like that. So please enter passphrase for disk. If you remember, we have encrypted them, and I have entered the decryption password. It is very important that you remember your encryption keys, as I've stated previously. If you are the sort of person that forgets them, write them down. If you don't feel like putting it, if you feel like that you're going to forget it or something like that, better than not to put it, because you're going to lock yourself out of your own disk, and that's going to be pretty bad. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that if you decided to actually get the Red Hat subscription for $50, you will be able to enable certain repositories from which you will be able to pull the information from. Okay, so license is not accepted. We will fix that shortly. Let's just click on I accept license agreement. Done. Finish configuration and boot into your Red Hat machine for the first time. As I said, we're going to have access to certain repositories, but no big deal there. You should really know know how to do this, primarily because tomorrow when you're managing Red Hat systems, you will need to enable individual subscriptions for machines and what machine has access to what sort of packages from the Red Hat network. Anyway, here it says subscription registration. This assistant will guide you through the process of registering your system with Red Hat to receive software updates and other benefits. Okay, so you don't need to register now. It is not necessary, but let's just go ahead and say that we do want to register here, and then afterwards I will show you how can you register in the post installation period as well through the via the command line. So let's just select yes, I'd like to register now, forward. I will register a subscription. Okay, so default, I will use no, we do not need proxies. Done. Let's see what happens now. Come on. Yep, there we go. So is it gonna show my password? No, it will not. So login name, I believe it was creator69. So original, right? And I even misspelled it. There we go. There we go with that as well. So just type in the username that you have created on the Red Hat website through the process of registration, and then use the same password, no problems. If you forgot it, of course, you can go to Red Hat and say forgot password or something of a kind, and it will reset it to your email or something. So please enter the following for the system name. Okay, we don't actually need to do that at the moment. We can just leave it at default. Done. So subscription management registering. You will only be able to do this if you actually bought the license itself for 1 year, where Red Hat provides updates, maintenance, and support. Well, not maintenance, sorry. Provides updates and support, which is very nice. As I said, you can at all times just go over to the website and basically start a chat, and they will help you out with pretty much everything that you need. Okay, so Red Hat Enterprise, Linux Desktop, self-support, type virtual, quantity 1, done. Go for it. Attaching subscriptions. This should finish up shortly. Oh, by the way. Okay, so it's finished actually before I had the chance to show you, but it doesn't really matter. I have the command standing by. Here's what I want to show you basically. there are these two commands which you can use in order to register yourself from the command line on a system which has already been installed. So random guy shall now log in for the first time. No, don't do this to me. Yes, there we go. I almost thought I forgot my password, which would be quite embarrassing, but oh well, what can you really do about it? These things happen. I will later on probably show you how to actually recover your password from a loss as well, so that shouldn't be a problem. Excellent, so we have booted into Red Hat, and you can see it's a relatively simple desktop without that much configuration. So capture. Yep. So I'm just gonna leave it here with English United Kingdom. You can change it to whatever you wish, of course. You can add additional keyboards here if you would like, but no, I don't need any additional keyboards. Okay, so you can also add some accounts here on the cloud, but generally not a bright idea if you're gonna to link your Facebook account or something like that. Just like here, if I say add account, let me just show you. You can say Google. Oh, no, don't do this to me. Add account. Okay, so I got Google, own cloud, Facebook, some other things. All in all, if you have business accounts that are directly related to this machine or here physically, well, not physically, but the accounts that you own, that you use for business and for transactions and stuff of a kind, I would then definitely suggest that to actually link them with strong passwords. But I definitely would not suggest you linking, I don't know, a Facebook account for which you use basically for socializing or something of a kind, or anything that falls into that category of non-professional things. So don't do that. If you're gonna have a professional account, sure, but something for fun, no point. Just open up your browser and log in. I'll just go ahead and cancel that and press on next. Start using Red Hat Enterprise Linux client. Excellent. So now we're in Red Hat, and okay, it's gonna give us some getting started in the browser, but we don't actually need that at present because I know where things are. Feel free to read through that if you wish. The desktop is fairly simplistic. This is GNOME, if I'm not mistaken, and you can install different desktops here with more advanced graphical features, but we'll see what we can do later on to actually change how this thing looks like. But before we do anything, I want to have a full screen mode. I don't want to be messing around with this small image, and I'm sure you don't want to be looking at it either. So go into devices, insert guest editions CD image. Could not find VirtualBox guest edition disk image file. Do you wish to download this disk image file from the internet? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Sure, you want to download VirtualBox from. Okay, so which site is it? DLC cdnsun.com VirtualBox. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and download it. Make sure to check these things. If they look fishy or something of a kind, then don't. Rather instead copy the address and check it out on the net. See if it's legit or something of a kind. If it's not, then absolutely do not. While this is going on, while the network operations manager is going on, let's just go into devices, network settings. Make sure to change this from NAT to bridge adapter, but I'm just going to leave it running for now while the download is going on because I don't want to actually interfere with it in any way. But change it from NAT to bridged, and then under name select an adapter as I have showed you in the previous tutorials. Make sure that you do that. Don't forget to do it, primarily because, well, it's better to have a machine with an individual LAN IP address that is separate and detached from the others, but that can yet communicate without any problems of whatsoever, as opposed to it going through NAT, which is not really good. Not something that I favor anyway. Not that it's not that good. It's good for protection and firewalls. Just to give you an example of what NAT is, it's network address translation. So let's say you have a router, your own home router that you use in your house that has been given to you by your ISP provider for which you paid money. And then you have a machine behind it, like a laptop, desktop, or a phone or whatever. It doesn't really, it's completely irrelevant. Then all the communication is done through that router, and that router is the device which actually has a public IP address. From there, all the requests are forwarded to the machines that actually made those requests. So if you're opening up a web browser, not a web browser, sorry, if you're opening up a website, it's going to go through the router, and then the router is going to receive the information and forward them to the correct device within LAN. That is why we use network address translation protocol. But with the coming of the IPv6 addresses, that's going to become quite redundant. Anyway, let's just go ahead and see. Oh, this is still downloading. Okay, so it's 50% now. It is taking quite a while, but no worries there. I assure you, it's going to finish. While it is going on, let's just have a look at some of the other features that we have here. So, capture. Yep. So this is where your name is displayed, and you can play around with notifications. And this is also where you click when you want to turn your machine off in terms of GUI. Into settings and other things we will get into later, but for the time being, let's just go over some of the basic options that you have here. So we got settings, we got logout, we got lock, we got power off. By the way, for lock, you can use, in most of the cases, you can use Control-Alt-L, and it's a really good habit for laptops, especially if you leave them unattended. Not a good idea. Here you can just check out the date. You have the calendar. It's fairly simple to take a look at it. The calendar, like any other calendar, nothing much to say there. Over here, you go to the battery if you're in a laptop, and under power settings, aside from choosing your plan, whether it's extensive use and high performance, or whether it's power saving mode, or something of a kind. Look, you have here blank screen, so it will blank the screen after 5 minutes. Don't do that. Well, these are my preferences. You can choose them to whatever you want them to be. Automatic suspend off, but when battery power is critical, hibernate. You can choose power off or hibernate. Surprisingly enough, it doesn't have that many options like I do on Fedora, but maybe. Okay, no, so apparently that's it. Not much there, but you know, when you're using Linux machines, the batteries tend to last forever. They're very energy efficient, so to say. I don't want to get into all of these things at the moment. We will get in the follow-up tutorial. I will actually explain about the GUI and, well, not the follow-up tutorial, but once we're through this mini chapter within a course, through these 3 ways in which you can actually set up your entire environment. Excellent. So the VirtualBox Guest Edition disk image file has been successfully downloaded. Do you wish to register the disk file image? Insert it into the Virtual C insert. Thank you very much. Important software updates. Install them. Come on, capture. Okay, so VirtualBox Editions contains software intended to be automatically started. Would you like to run it? This is an equivalent of you putting a CD into your machine and running it. So just go ahead and run. It does require a password, so go ahead and type in your root password. Authenticate. Authenticating. Oh, come on. Excellent, so it's running this in the terminal, and it should finish up shortly, after which time I do believe that we're going to need to perform a reboot, but I'm kind of hoping that we won't, that it will catch it automatically. This process, it might take a while, but building the main guest module failed. Okay, let's see if this is gonna present some major issues. I don't know, it can have some failures. It's still gonna work the way I've experienced it anyway on my other virtual machines. Press return to close this window. Excellent. So, are you gonna load it up now, or do we need to restart? Oh, we definitely need a restart. So, install updates and restart. Sure, why not? Here we go. Okay, I don't want to capture. Excellent. So let's just wait up until it boots and see what happens. Remember, we are looking for a full screen because I really don't feel like doing this on a small screen, and believe me, neither will you. So once again, we are prompted for a decryption password. And there you go, it's booting up again. The boot process is not that slow, it's relatively fast. There are some updates that have been applied as well, but we will need to perform additional checkups on this, and these systems need to be updated quite frequently too. Although, unlike Windows, it's not gonna force a restart on you, it's not gonna restart in the middle of things while you're doing something important. That will never happen with Linux, quite literally. And pretty much you do these sort of updates manually with the packet managers on regular basis, pretty much on daily basis. There are small updates, although the updates for Linux are generally never big as updates for Windows, so it's going to take you a very short amount of time to fill them up. And it doesn't take like a process of ages. When you reset the machine, you get that spinning circle. It says, please do not turn your computer off until the updates apply. Oh, that's a killer. It can be a bit annoying, but oh well, what can you really do about it? Not much. If you want to apply updates in Windows, that is what you have to do, but in Linux, not so much. Let's see how far this is. Come on, please. Okay, so it has popped a little bit, but still gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna pause the tutorial here and we will continue on in the next one so you don't have to wait for this to be over. Anyway, I bid you farewell until then.